All right, everyone, welcome back to Eddie and AJ. We are back here, wrapping up this past week's NFL schedule. So how'd you do? How was your record?
So, it's hard to improve on how I did last week with the 12-1. Obviously there's only one way I could do better, and that's, going undefeated. But this week, 7-6, so just over 500. I'll still take it.
Yeah, dude.
There are a couple of reasons why I think some of my picks faltered, and I'll get into that as I go through them. But my correct picks for the week: New Orleans beat Tampa Bay 30-10. Jameis Winston got hurt in this game. Mike Evans had gotten ejected from this game, and the Saints are now looking actually pretty good. The Eagles beat the Broncos handily, 51-23, and week in, week out, these past couple of weeks, the Eagles have really just been proving that they are the best team in the NFL and a force to be reckoned with for the rest of the season. The Jaguars beat the Bengals 23-7. The Jaguars have been, I think, one of the more surprising teams this NFL season. For as long as really I've known, the Jaguars have always been sort of a bottom feeder sort of team, but there's an edge to this defense, and Blake Bortles, he's got a couple years under his belt. He's finally starting to play, I think, with a little bit more confidence. Carolina beat Atlanta in a big divisional matchup. That game was in Carolina, and the Panthers pulled it out, and Atlanta has fallen to, I believe, below 500, or they may be even at 500. Arizona beat San Francisco 20-10. San Francisco remains winless. The Raiders beat the Dolphins 27-24. Pretty close game, Sunday Night Football, but Marshawn Lynch scored two touchdowns. Derek Carr's looking, kind of healthy. So with that combination, you got to look out for them, especially with their defensive front there.
Yeah, definitely.
Detroit beat Green Bay 30-17. Same sort of thing. No Aaron Rodgers, really hurting Green Bay, but still Lambeau Field is not an easy place to go and play, and Detroit got the job done. My surprise is the Jets beat the Bills, pretty easily, 34-21 last Thursday night. That was in New Jersey. But the Jets sitting at 4-5. Again, I'd say maybe along with the Broncos, one of the other sort of upset, not upset teams, but surprising teams this season. So at least there's some exciting football to watch out of one New York team this year. The Colts beat the Texans 20-14, and the reason that is 100% because of what happened to Deshaun Watson last week. I don't know if you heard about it, but he had just come off like a 7-touchdown performance in Seattle, and he tore his ACL in practice last Thursday. I mean, if that had happened Wednesday before the show, I was like, no way the Texans are going to win. But that happened on Thursday. So really kind of a tragic loss.
Yeah,
for the Texans
nonetheless.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it was like a non-contact sort of thing. So really I feel bad for him. I think he was on line to probably win Rookie of the Year. And then that happened. So, they still played competitively against the Colts, but the Colts got a nice win, 20-14. Titans beat the Ravens 23-20. Washington beat Seattle, and I think one of the bigger upsets of the week, 17-14. This was a big defensive game, and actually the Seahawks scored to take the lead late in the game, less than 2 minutes left, but Kirk Cousins drove down the field, and the Redskins won that game 17-14. Dallas was back at home, and they beat Kansas City 28-17. Kansas City, after starting out 5-0, have really kind of faltered a little bit. For a while, a lot of people, including myself, thought that they were the best team in the league, but they've lost a couple now, and so they have a big game coming up this week. And the Rams crushed the Giants 51-17. There's a lot going on within the Giants organization right now. A lot of rumblings. Is McAdoo going to be fired? Should Eli, should they bench Eli? So there's a lot of stuff going on. They play San Francisco this week. Well, as I said before, they're 0-9. The Giants are 1-7. But I'd say that if the Giants don't, win a couple games and finish strong this season, I think McAdoo is gone. I think that, they'll fire him. They may even fire the general manager, Jerry Reese, but really not, the whole organization is kind of in shambles right now down there, with the Giants, but they lose 51-17. So as I said, 7-6 on the week. Excuse me. That brings my overall record to 82-54. So
Still good.
Yeah, I'll take it. Excuse me, but yes, 82-54, 7-6 on the week, and now we're going into week 10.
Crazy, week 10 already. So, Thursday, tomorrow night, November 9th, Seahawks at the Cardinals, 8:25 p.m. Who's your pick for them?
Seahawks are coming off a heartbreaking loss, at home and at home. So I'm going to go with the Seahawks getting back on track against the Cardinals. This is a big game. If the Cardinals win this game, they'll be tied with the Seahawks in that division behind the Rams. Mm-hmm. So the Seahawks really need this one if they want to compete, not only for their division, but also for a wild card spot.
All right, so moving on to Sunday, November 12th, Jets at Buccaneers, 1 p.m.
Jets and Bucks. I'm going to take the Jets over the Bucks in Tampa Bay. As I said before, Jameis Winston's got hurt, so the Jets are actually going up against Ryan Fitzpatrick, their quarterback for the past couple of years. So that should be interesting to see what happens. Not really a homecoming because they're in Tampa Bay, but facing his old team there. But I also noticed that between Josh McCown, the quarterback of the Jets, and Ryan Fitzpatrick, it is the matchup of two quarterbacks who have played for the most combined teams in NFL history. Wow. I think between them they've played for upwards of around 15 different teams.
Wow.
Which in the NFL is very, very tough to do.
Yeah, definitely. So, also 1 o'clock, we have the Saints at the Bills.
Saints at the Bills. I'm going to take the Saints beating the Bills in Buffalo. The Bills are coming off a bad loss, but I think the Saints are just really good now. This was a tough game to pick because the game is out in Buffalo, in Buffalo, and the weather could play a factor. The Saints are playing a dome, but I like the experience of Drew Brees getting it done.
All right, cool. So we have the Browns at the Lions.
Browns at the Lions, pretty easy one there. I'm going to take the Lions to improve to 5-4, and the Browns to fall to 0-9.
All right, Bengals at Titans.
Bengals at the Titans. I'm going to go with the Titans. The Titans have actually looked pretty good. That game's in Tennessee, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, so they're home. The Bengals have not really looked good this season. Titans haven't looked that bad. They've won a couple games here and there. They're sitting at 5-3, and they're on top of their division. So if they win, they'll only separate themselves more.
All right, next we got Green Bay at the Bears.
This is going to be a good game. It's in Chicago, and that's why I'm actually going to give the edge to the Bears. Their defense hasn't been too bad this year. Trubisky, he's young, but he's been throwing the ball pretty well. When he does throw it, they don't throw it that often, but he has the chance to really, have a decent season for the Chicago Bears team. And again, same old story with the Packers. No Aaron Rodgers makes it tough to win, so I'm going to go with the Bears.
All right, moving on, we got Chargers at Jacksonville.
I'm actually going to go with the Jaguars in this one. As I said before, they've been playing, really well, much to the surprise of a lot of people. So I like them in this game, and I'm going to pick the Chargers improving to. I like the Jaguars improving to 6-3.
All right, next we got the Minnesota Vikings at the Washington Redskins.
This is going to be a very good game because it's in Washington, so the Redskins have a little bit of a home field advantage. The Vikings had placed Sam Bradford on IR and activated Teddy Bridgewater, who had missed all of last season. He was there, good rookie quarterback 2 seasons ago. So I'm going to go with the Vikings because of their defense. I think they're just an overall better team than the Redskins, but I wouldn't be too surprised if the Redskins pulled out a close win at home, coming off a very emotional win in Seattle last week.
All right, next we got the Steelers at the Colts.
Steelers have looked pretty good this season. 2 losses, sitting at 6-2, and the Colts just aren't, that good of a football team. They were able to beat the Texans because Deshaun Watson was out. So I'm going to stick with the Steelers.
All right, next we got Texans at Rams.
Now, this would be a very intriguing matchup. Again, it's kind of the same story as it is with the Packers now. This would have been a very intriguing matchup with the Texans if Deshaun Watson was healthy. But the Rams are sitting at 6-2, and I'd say, again, as I said before, I'd say them and the Jags are 2 of the most surprising teams. Sean McVay, head coach of the Rams, he's like 38 or less than that. He's like 30-something years old. They've looked good. They just put up 51 points on the Giants. They're atop of that Western Division, so I'm liking the Rams to beat the Texans this week.
All right, 4:25 p.m. Sunday, we got the Giants at the 49ers.
I hope I hope the Giants can win this game. I do think that it is time for them to turn it around. This is the perfect opportunity to do it because they're facing a team that they are better than, and that is tough to say as a 1-7 team.
Yeah.
But they are better than the 49ers, so I expect them to really tighten up a little bit this week because at this point some people are playing for their jobs, and McAdoo is coaching for his job at this point.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna pick the Giants over the 49ers.
All right, next we got the Dallas Cowboys at the Atlanta Falcons.
This is going to be a very good game, especially because it's in Atlanta, and the Falcons have kind of been all over the place this season. But with the Cowboys having a very nice win over Kansas City last week, I'm going to pick the Cowboys.
All right, our last game on Sunday. It's going to be 8:30 p.m. Pats going up against the Broncos.
Broncos have not looked good lately, and the Patriots really are starting to separate themselves within the league, so I'm going to pick the Pats beating the Broncos in Denver.
All right, finally, Monday, November 13th, 8:30 p.m., Miami Dolphins going up against the Panthers.
This game's in Carolina, so that gives a little bit of an edge to the Panthers, and they've played some good football these past few weeks. They had 2 losses in a row, I believe. One was to the Bears, where they only scored 3 points, but I like them having this second win in a row, bouncing off a very good win against the Falcons. So look for I'm picking Carolina to beat the Dolphins on Monday night. So those are my picks for the week. Tune in next week to see how they go, and we'll be back after a little bit. We'll be talking some Iona athletics and the start of the college basketball season.